Ladies and gentlemen, we're going straight to it this morning. We've got OjyOkpe. You know all the nicknames. She's here with a lot of wawulens today.
Wawulens? I don't know. I was just listening to you. Good morning. Let me just come.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufy on fire. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
My Ayomide.
How are you?
Good morning, Professor Anthony Killer. How are you this morning? All right. You just, you were telling me about...
I was helping you as a female colleague.
Because I did not watch Senator Ita-Giwa's interview, a woman that I actually respect.
Yes.
But with what you have said now, I am quite disappointed at some of the measures that you've just reeled out. I'd like for you to just, you can't give me advice. Just reel out what exactly.
I was giving you suggestions on how to avoid sexual harassment.
How can
you be more confident?
Wait, was that what?
That's what she said. Because I asked her, because I said that was a revelation because she needed to teach us a lot more about how not to be sexually harassed. And one of the things was that you have to be more confident.
You have to be more confident?
Yes, as a woman.
Wow.
So it's lack of confidence if you're sexually harassed. Number two is that you also have to be unapproachable.
Okay.
If you are too approachable, men will, and that's on you. And then, of course, it's weakness to come on air and come and talk about episodes, especially at a certain level. I don't know about you, but personally, I don't think a woman ever grows out of it, whereby men or women. We keep focusing on women, but when it comes to discrimination, it happens both ways. It's just that women face it a bit more, especially in this part of the world that we are. And the danger with narratives like that, like I was sharing behind the scenes, is that whenever a case like this is brought up, the first thing that usually comes up is, what did the woman do? We must kill that narrative in Nigeria, because that is what perpetuates this a lot, because it's always that a woman must have done something to attract that kind of attention or attract that kind of discrimination.
Yes.
I think it's very sad if we continue that narrative, because we'll continue to absolve the people who ought to take responsibility for their actions.
All right, I was going to start the show in Lagos, but because we're talking about this issue and we're seeing that it's women that are coming out to trivialize sexual harassment, because this is exactly what it means. If you are sexually harassed, please, it is no woman's fault. You cannot be blamed for being sexually harassed. I mean, you look beautiful, you're sexually harassed. You did not create yourself. And it's not lack of confidence that causes sexual harassment. It is a thing out there, and it is unfair and unfortunate that at this time in our system, society, where 2025, we're talking about women not being able to come out and talk about sexual harassment. Well, I'd like to take the story in Kenya so that we can discuss everything together. Good morning to you, viewers. Well, in the wake of the feud between Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, over allegations of sexual harassment, the role of young women in politics and gender disparity in African politics has now become a topic of debate. Well, a 2024 video showing Kenyan Legislator Millie Odhiambo, who has established herself as one of the country's most outspoken politicians, advising young women to be as fiery as she is, has resurfaced online. Well, let's take a look at that video before we come back for a discussion.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to start by saying that one of my favorite books is Good Girls Never Get the Corner Office. Mr. Speaker, this is in response to what you are telling me earlier in the morning when you are urging me to be a good example to the girls, the younger ones who are doing their first term. Mr. Speaker, if they are good girls, they'll never get corner office. Be as bad as Millie Odhiambo, you will be the mother of this house. I am a bad girl, and as a bad girl, I'm here serving my fourth term. So do not be cheated like the African culture where you are told have decorum, dress nicely, be kind, be nice. I'm telling you, you will go nowhere. Be a bad girl like me and you'll get somewhere.
Well, I don't think she means literally be a bad girl. I mean, but basically that, she said, was her favorite book.
Yeah.
Good girls don't get the corner office, meaning you have to stand your ground as a woman. A quick comment from you.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you have to stand your ground. I think what the speaker there was talking about is about being tough, not being bad in reality.
Yes,
I think for every situation of harassment, oppression, or discrimination, we should be able to truly condemn what is bad. What is bad is anybody in this world, either because of gender, either because of race, religion, or ethnicity, is trying to discriminate or oppress somebody else is a bad thing.
Absolutely.
I think men who rape, I think men who use their power, who try to use their money, not to seduce or lure, but to extort and constrain other people, are weak men.
Absolutely.
I call them boys who did not do boyhood when they were boys. They fall into money and power at an age in their life, and they've never charmed women.
Yeah.
They've never persuaded, they've never convinced people with their wit, with their oratory, with their knowledge, or with their physique. They've not done sport. They were not clapped to have young people. So when they get to a stage in their life, when they have power, money, they think they can buy people. But it is also important for us, however, to share the responsibility around. I stand with women of substance. I stand with women who are who they are, what they are, because of what they can bring to the table. Yeah. I have seen many times in my life where some women use the feminine card to get what they do not deserve to the detriment of other women. And I think anytime we talk about serious things like sexual harassment, it is important not to simplify.
Absolutely.
It is important to go for the facts, followed by logic, and allow for space of dissident voices and allow for space of misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and mischief. It is important that we understand that if you are for the truth, you will know the truth is always nuanced.
Absolutely. Basically, it's about standing your ground as a woman in Africa. In politics, I mean, in Kenya, we are seeing more representation of women in politics. And this is what we're advocating for here on the show. Rufai, a quick comment from you.
You see, I'm not surprised that a lot of women are coming to pull down, this movement to be able to amplify when you're sexually harassed. Who will men use against women before? It is fellow women that men will use. So I'm not surprised. Because the hegemony of society has always been wrapped around men. It is a man's world, songs like that and everything. So, also, in part of that mentality, a lot of women has been indoctrinated with the mentality of subservience to men. So they will spew narratives like, if a man makes a pass at you, you cost it. It's a deliberate societal attempt. And it is women that will enunciate this. And especially, some women will feel upset when they see another woman standing up for herself, because the truth is, in a society that is male-dominated, for you as a woman to understand the preservation of self, it's a difficult thing. You are constantly told that you are not successful unless you end up in a man's house.
Unfortunate.
Society gives you everything. You go to church, once you are over 30, they are saying, pray for husband.
Right.
A man is beating you in a relationship, they are saying, for better, for worse. But the men can have multiple partners. So I'm not surprised. It's part of the indoctrination of society. And that's why people will say that, oh, it's you that you cannot handle it properly.
Unfortunately.
Not trying to address the issue of a randy man that cannot keep his thing in his thing.
His thing in his thing. All right, Rufai,
So
before
the truth has to be said, Oji. I am not surprised. It is the way society has evolved. But for those that do that, they should not forget that historically, Africa has always had stronger women in society. There are generations, there are African races that the likes of Ablapoku led.
All right.
So we must be able to magnify that Africa originally was not a misogynistic society. Amina of Zaria.
Queen Amina of Zaria, she's one of the women I respect,
they held
admire
positions.
the most, yes.
So the attempt of women to support the misogyny against women now is a problematic streak of mentality we must change. And that's why we should be weary of people that are now preaching this macho mentality. People like Andrew Tate online, because there's a resurgence of people like that, and they're subjugating women.
All right. Well said, you all. Thank you very much for your submissions. And again, we need more women in politics, especially here in Africa. Again, sexual harassment is not a woman's fault. Now, let's now take reactions to the leadership change that rocked the Lagos State House of Assembly on Monday after ousted Speaker Mudashiru Obasa returned as a substantive Speaker of the House. The state's first female Speaker, Mojisola Miranda, who represents Apapa constituency, announced her resignation during plenary, But in a dramatic twist of events, lawmakers immediately re-elected her as Deputy Speaker.
Once again, history beckoned on me to make personal sacrifice towards resolving the steaming, implacable leadership crisis rocking this assembly of patriots. Please permit me, dear colleagues, to reinstate the position I previously expressed in a leaked publication, wherein I stated as follows. 1, it is with every sense of responsibility that I hereby give you notice of my decision to resign as the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly with effect from today, 3rd of March 2025. I am not a quitter. However, I took the above decision in order to save this legislative institution from further unnecessary conflict and embarrassment. Accordingly, and in deference to the distance of our esteemed political leaders, I have agreed to yet again make a personal sacrifice by stepping down as the Speaker of this great assembly. I sincerely thank you all for your understanding and support. Just like we know that the party decision is supreme. At this point, I take a bow as your Speaker, and I step down as your Speaker of this great House. But before I leave, I have a little song. And I give the credit to one of our Islamic singers. Oreni, Oreni, ibi ẹlẹ́wàdé yìí náà, Oreni. Àwọn mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ká tó sáré bẹ́yìn kan mọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ní ilé wa. God bless Lagos State and God bless Nigeria.
I mean, phenomenal woman, I have to say, really. I mean, that song, I will say, because that song she sang was very heavy. I mean, it was basically saying something like, listen to me, Rufai, I don't know why you are laughing, because in order to get to where you are going, you have to walk through that process.
Yeah.
Listen, and I think it has to do with blessings or something like that. And it has to do with
like grace, favor.
Grace and favor. Wherever it is that you are taking me, we will probably get there in the end. Is it you stoop to conquer, basically? Okay, hold on. That's my opinion. I know you are laughing, but it is my opinion. You know that her leadership...
I'm smiling.
Yes, smiling. Her leadership really has been hailed, our praise, for restoring peace in the assembly, and she talked about peace and all of that. They said that her resignation followed a reported meeting with senior APC members aimed at resolving the leadership crisis. But let me just balance my earlier comments, which is the fact that she's a woman and she had to go through what she had to go through because she's a woman. And we have been talking about women in politics. Let me read Emisiasia's tweet. He wrote, another female victim of Nigeria's hostile political environment. Natasha is still battling it out with Akpabio. Being a woman in politics is tough everywhere in the world, but much more in Nigeria, as we can see at this point. I don't know if it's okay to play the female card. I'll ask you that in this instance, but I know it's bigger than just a female card. Of course, it's bigger than just a female card. Go ahead.
So yes, so this is the danger of playing the female card. In this instance, it was just politics that played out. In fact, I don't, whether she was male, female, amphibian, it would have still happened to her, yes. But I think, as a number of people have said, that Lagos missed a prime opportunity to have its first female speaker sustainably. She is, you know, she will go down in record, despite the fact that she spent only 49 days as speaker. But honestly, it wasn't about her. It was just about the politics. And earlier on, we spoke about how we must, when we talk about godfathers and godfatherism, it's played quite a key role in what unfolded in Lagos State. And the unfortunate thing is that the people of Lagos State themselves did not have a say in this. It was just the machinations of the powers that be. So that was also, I think that was what she was singing about, that it was favor that brought her here, favor that brought her this far, and then it's time to step over. So she didn't, it wasn't because of her political maneuverings.
Let me read a translation. Ayo, you don't understand Yoruba, do you?
Me? I speak my first
Let me read
Yoruba.
a translation because I asked for it. It says, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. The place you are taking us to is a blessing. I didn't know before I started running. If you also have known, you would not chase us.
Yeah, blessing.
Basically,
favor.
yes.
Yeah. So that's how I meant that it was right. So
okay.
Ore is a favor, grace, Oreofe, or the Oreolua. Yeah, it means it's God's benevolence to you.
All right.
So in this instance, it's the benevolence of the powers that, or a godfather.
Or a godfather.
Yeah. That's the word.
Let me make you laugh a little bit more. You're laughing on the show a lot. Well, you know what? Nollywood actor, now turned politician, Desmond Elliott, who's a lawmaker representing Surulere constituency 2, broke down in tears shortly before Miranda's resignation. Let's take a look.
Honorable Elliott.
Mr. Speaker, can I let others talk first?
Elliott, sit. Honorable Seyi Lawal.
That was not
Actor.
Why are you laughing at someone's misery?
Remember
Why?
back in the days, they say actor and boss. You see, all of them are comedians.
All right.
In fact, see Miranda singing Oreni.
Oreni.
It was, she's acknowledging that it was the godfather that brought her there.
Yeah.
You see, that's the lack of self we keep talking about in our politics. So what she's saying invariably is, I'm thankful that you brought me here. So even if I was disgraced out of the position, I'm still thankful for the fact that you disgraced me because at least it gave me a good record. Yeah. Can you imagine how low people think in this country? Can you imagine how they are subservient to the hegemony and they kiss the ring of Babasokwe-crissy? Can you imagine what the society has become? A speaker was disgraced. Anti-constitutional means.
I don't know if it's disgrace.
No, it is disgrace.
No, I think it's a disgrace on the Lagos Assembly itself.
No,
I don't know how.
It's
that's my opinion.
It's also a disgrace on the speaker. A speaker that did nothing wrong.
What would she have done?
There was nothing wrong she did.
What should she have done?
What should she have done?
When she's bullied by her.
No, when she was bullied by. Should she be bullied in the first place?
No, I just want to know what she should have done in the instance. What would you suggest?
What I suggest she should have done is stand your ground to the very last, but I dare her to do it because she's not a person of herself. Because there's no sense of self.
Ayos Isa.
They brought her in, they took her out.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. That there's, listen,
Yeah.
you're not getting my point,
Right.
Ayo. Please listen.
All right.
And that's why I say this is the Babasokwe-crissy.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what
Because
she's
of the
saying
lack
too.
of self.
We're saying
the same thing.
Because of the lack of self. So
Yeah.
now she's now saying, thank you for bringing me in. You gave me the point to shine. When you humiliated me and took me out again, I thank you for it. So she's saying, I pay obeisance that another man is my God. But how long is this going to continue? That's the question we should ask ourselves, because these people don't have a sense of self. So weren't we here in this country when somebody said he bought tickets for most of the people that campaign in River State?
They bought their,
So that's
And
the
which
country.
was true, by the
and
way.
which I don't know. I can't prove that.
I asked.
You have
I know
facts.
it's true.
I know
yes.
that.
All right.
I
So
went to
going
find
forward,
out, and they didn't deny.
now look at actor.
Actor.
Look at actor that was with Obasa when Obasa stormed in.
I have a question. I saw him saying we reject Obasa. I saw that video.
Oh, okay. He rejected Obasa.
I saw that
so
video.
no matter what side, okay, I take that back since you have another
I saw
fact.
the video. It
But
was there.
whatever the fact was, this was the same person that was in there.
Yeah.
Then the next thing, he starts to change script and say, oh, I'm crying, I feel emotional.
You said that before, right? You said that was going to happen.
Then the third part of the story is, why I even say victimization of Miranda? Because this was the same Miranda that lied to us that she was not resigning, that the initial resignation letter was false. Yeah. Do you know she quoted
That's what she said
from the initial resignation letter?
So
you can see Miranda too is part of the joke. So for all of you, I stand by women that are supporting her. Shotoyin?
No, it's not about it's about standing by women.
No. I'm sorry.
No,
let me throw our lens. Let me finish.
Okay.
For all of those that say, we stand by you, she was also part of the game. So as at the point in time when she was saying, I resist, she had already drafted a letter and concurred with it. She quoted the letter again. Yes. So all the time they were saying, we stand with Miranda, she was joking with all of us. And that's why when she came back, she now said, Mojuba Babao, thank you for giving me the position and taking me away.
All right, but you made the point, Rufai, which is she did quote the letter. Yeah. So if she actually wrote the letter, she read it out, right? And that was what she did at the point.
But she denied that letter before, didn't she?
She said it was a leaked letter. What she read out was...
I was going to say that there's a big difference as to who wrote the letter.
Who wrote the letter?
And whether or not she was compelled to read the letter as... That's what I'm saying, that she might have actually resisted at the time. But then she was compelled to quote from the letter. So it might not... She's speaking a script that the party has written for her.
And there have been several meetings that have been going on for what? How many days now? 49?
49 days,
so many weeks have passed. Well, before I come to you, Professor Killer, here's the moment. Mudashiru Obasa returned as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly and took the oath of office 7 weeks after his removal.
I, Mudashiru Obasa, solemnly swear that in the service of the state as the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, I will be faithful, bearing true allegiance to Lagos State of Nigeria at all times. I will not discriminate on the basis of religion, tribe, cause, status, or practice in practice of any form of partiality in the performance of my official duties. I will always perform my official duties diligently and efficiently. I will not engage or be involved in any activities in conflict, either directly or indirectly, with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
All right, he's been re-elected Speaker. Let me take a reaction. This is from Frederick, who wrote, when was the impeachment reversed? From impeachment to re-election? A shame to the Assembly. This is the danger in Nigeria. Political parties are now the worst problems of Nigeria. Party above country and rule of law. Obasa was probably returned because he has too many secrets to divulge if allowed to be impeached. I mean, he went further to state, other comments, but this is actually an embarrassment. It's a disgrace on the Lagos Assembly, and that is my stance.
Well, your stance, I mean, yesterday I mentioned something that some people were chatting me about and tweeting me. The difference between law and justice. Let us be very clear. They have not violated any law in the impeachment of the Speaker and the re-election of the Speaker.
There were so many words that were bandied around, impeachment or removal.
Whatever they've done is what you call in Italian Cosa Nostra. It is their thing. Inside that room, they can put anybody in, they can take anybody out, and they can reinstate anybody. And they followed all that law. The point here is that from the Speaker to the last member of that House of Assembly is about power. I want our viewers to think about it. Power is like money. You use it the way you get it. You lose it the way you got it. If you are put into a role by favor or mercy or some kind of gift that was given to you, then you haven't got the gravitas, you haven't got the back to stand for it. And that is what we are viewing. As I say, this thing is their thing. The people inside their chamber and the chambers near to them, the ones of the parties, of the supremacy of the party or leadership. By the way, let me say something. I've accused, for 49 days, I've accused the leadership of the APC, from the GAC to the governor to everybody, of lack of leadership. They have shown leadership now. They've shown that they can make and unmake. Those who say a tree cannot make a forest are wrong. a tree can make a forest, depending on the kind of tree you are. And that is what we're seeing here. In the view of all these things going on, it is clear that those who have to look at themselves in the mirror and make a stance are followers and voters. The person you are calling leader, people of Lagos State, in your constituency, in the state, anywhere, is he or she a true leader? Is it somebody you should be queuing up behind? The people you're voting for, are they true people that deserve your vote to look up to? Individuals need to take time and make some decisions.
All right. Well said, Professor Kila. There were so many questions now because one of the reasons that they said they impeached him or removed him was due to some, what did they say? Mismanagement of funds. So
high-handedness.
High-handed. Are they forgiven? That's my question. Because we need to know.
They're not forgiven, they're forgotten.
They're forgotten now. We need to know.
Brother Kila, you are deliberately mentioning Cosa Nostra, which is a Sicilian mafia. Brother Kila, I get it.
He always kills it, Professor Killer. Well, all right. Well, let's head over to River State now, where the governor of the state, Sim Fubara, has reacted to the rulings of the Supreme Court, which affirmed the judgment of a federal high court that barred the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Accountant General of the Federation from releasing monthly allocations to the state. While speaking during the inauguration of the State Government House Staff Quarters in Port Harcourt on Monday, Fubara told the people of River State that the time has come for them to take their destiny into their own hands. Let's take a look.
In as much as I don't subscribe to violence, when the time comes for us to take a decision, I will lead the cause for that decision. Let me say it again, and let me say it again. I'm not scared of anything. The worst that will happen is me to leave the office. It's not. Am I leaving the earth? Is it going to stop me from existing? So I'm not even bothered about that. But the right thing must be done and must be said when the opportunity is given to us. So let me thank everyone, more especially is our youth. Be strong. Don't be bat up. Be strong. I assure you, at the right time, you will get the instruction.
All right, Ayo, let me take these reactions. This is from Sunday. We wrote bold words. But is he truly prepared for the consequences? Leading a cause should be about solutions, not just defiance. Power is fleeting, but standing for something lasts forever. Well, Nonso wrote, this should be an opportunity for the state and local government officials in Rivers State to get creative and develop innovative ways to generate revenue locally. Ideally, it should be the local governments remitting funds to the state and federal governments. But these comments as to what exactly is he doing? I read somewhere, is he inciting violence? What does he mean when the time comes? Ayo, a quick comment.
And then I think he's behaved quite well. He's responded quite well following the Supreme Court judgment. And the truth is, we often talk about politicians having a second address. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management, fellow of Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. So maybe he's already putting his CV together that very soon once he exits office. But I must commend the fact that he's handled it well in such a way as not to get the young people on the streets protesting what's happened.
All right, well, let's take this story now under entertainment. Well, over the weekend, dignitaries gathered at the Delboro Hotel in Victoria Island, Lagos, to celebrate former President Olusegun Obasanjo as he marked his 88th birthday in grand style. Dignitaries including former President Goodluck Jonathan, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and Chairman of Air Peace, Dr. Alan Onyema, all took turns extolling Obasanjo's leadership and contributions to national development. Let's take a look at snippets from that event.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Airport 501. Without further ado, let's begin.
All right, that was a beautiful event. I mean, congratulations to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo at 88. There was a video that was trending, him and from Obi-Ezekwili. I thought it was quite cute, but you know, it was a real good moment. All right, congratulations. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Happy birthday.
Apologies for not.
Well, before we end what's trending today, let us highlight award-winning writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's first event for her first novel in over a decade, Dream Count. The book, which is set for release today, March 4th, is about the emotional lives of 4 women grappling with the search for purpose, stability, and love. Well, here is a clip of Chimamanda reading to fans who gathered at Waterstones Piccadilly to get their hands on a copy in our Good News report.
Absolute privilege to welcome to you today award-winning author of Americana and Half of the Yellow Sun, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
I have always longed to be known, truly known by another human being. Sometimes we live for years with yearnings that we cannot name, until a crack appears in the sky and widens and reveals us to ourselves, as the pandemic did, because it was during lockdown that I began to sift through my life and give names to things long unnamed. I vowed at first to make the most of this collective sequestering. If I had no choice but to stay indoors, then I would oil my thinning edges every day, drink 8 tall glasses of water, jog on the treadmill, sleep long, luxurious hours, and patch rich serums on my skin. I would write new travel pieces from old unused notes, and if lockdown lasted long enough, I might finally have the heft I needed for a book.
Fantastic, congratulations. You know we love to clap at the end of what's trending. I can't wait to get my hands on the book, especially because it talks about 4 women. Well, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis on what's trending today. Professor Killer, I'll see you soon. Well, all right. Well, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.